In the pre-dawn darkness of March 18, 1989, Evergreen International Airlines Flight 17 was just another routine military logistics run. The aircraft, a McDonnell Douglas DC-9 cargo freighter, was under the command of Captain Gerald Jack McCall and First Officer John Michael Schwope. Their mission was simple: fly military supplies from Kelly Air Force Base in Texas to Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. With a quick stop in Fort Worth, the plane, registered N931F, had a storied past. Originally a passenger cargo hybrid for KLM, it was now a dedicated freighter, leased to Evergreen, an airline with known ties to U.S. military and intelligence operations. Captain McCall, a seasoned 41-year-old pilot with over 7,200 flight hours, was known for being exceptionally thorough, especially with his pre-takeoff checks. His first officer, John Schwope, was equally professional. The first leg of their journey was uneventful. They departed Kelly Air Force Base late the previous evening and landed at Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth around 1:12 a.m. On the ground, U.S. Air Force handlers quickly unloaded and reloaded the aircraft with new pallets of military cargo. By 2:04 a.m., the engines were spinning back to life, ready for the final short hop to Oklahoma City. Captain McCall, true to his reputation, would have meticulously scanned his instrument panel, paying close attention to the cargo door warning lights. Seeing everything in order, he guided the DC-9 onto the runway. The powerful Pratt & Whitney engines roared as the jet climbed into the dark sky, ascending towards its cruising altitude. But just as the plane leveled off, disaster struck. Without warning, the massive aft cargo door unlatched and swung wide open. The sudden violent change in aerodynamics was catastrophic. An explosive decompression ripped through the fuselage, instantly creating chaos. Unsecured cargo was violently sucked out into the night, and the aircraft began to yaw and roll uncontrollably. Alarms screamed through the cockpit. The pilots found themselves wrestling with the controls, fighting against ferocious winds and the immense structural stress tearing at their plane. Captain McCall, ever the professional, grabbed the radio. He declared an emergency, calmly informing air traffic control of the problem and initiating a desperate turn back toward Carswell for an emergency landing. Air traffic controllers immediately provided vectors, guiding the crippled jet onto a downwind approach. But the open cargo door was acting like a giant, unpredictable air brake. It disrupted the airflow over the tail and wings, throwing the DC-9 into a sharp, uncontrollable left bank. The plane was entering a spiral from which there seemed to be no escape. Despite McCall's heroic efforts, adjusting engine power, deploying flaps, and fighting the yoke with all his strength, the laws of physics were unforgiving. The aircraft rolled completely inverted, its belly facing the stars. From an altitude of just 2,500 feet, it plunged nose first toward the ground. At approximately 2:30 a.m., Flight 17 slammed into a muddy pasture near the small town of Saginaw, Texas, just a few miles short of the runway. The impact was devastating. The fuselage disintegrated, the wings were torn from the body, and a massive fireball erupted from the ruptured fuel tanks, scattering wreckage across the farmland. Captain McCall and First Officer Schwope died instantly. As it was a cargo flight, they were the only two souls on board, a small mercy in an otherwise complete tragedy. As dawn broke, investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board arrived at the grim scene. They began the painstaking process of piecing together what happened, analyzing the wreckage, flight data, and witness accounts. The NTSB's final report, released in April 1990, identified the probable cause. The main cargo door had opened in flight, because it hadn't been properly secured on the ground. The investigation revealed a cascade of failures. A crucial warning light circuit in the cockpit was faulty, meaning it failed to alert the pilots that the door wasn't locked before takeoff. Captain McCall, for all his diligence, had been betrayed by his own instruments. He saw a green light, but the door was not secure. The report also pointed to systemic issues. Evergreen's maintenance procedures for the door's external locking pins were found to be lax. McDonnell Douglas, the aircraft's manufacturer, had not provided any checklists for how pilots should handle an in-flight cargo door opening. And the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, had been slow to mandate necessary safety fixes. Wind tunnel tests and simulator reconstructions later confirmed the terrifying reality the pilots faced. Once the DC-9's cargo door detached, it could induce a spin that was virtually impossible for a pilot to recover from. It was a systemic failure that had set a fatal trap. In the wake of the tragedy, the aviation industry responded. The FAA issued new directives mandating enhanced inspections for the cargo doors on all DC-9 freighters. Manufacturers updated their manuals and procedures to prevent a repeat of this specific nightmare. Evergreen International Airlines continued its operations, often in the shadows of global politics, until it filed for bankruptcy in 2013. But the story of Flight 17 serves as a permanent, stark reminder of how thin the margins between safety and disaster can be in aviation. Today, the field in Saginaw where the plane went down is quiet. The grass has grown over the scars in the earth, whispering a silent tribute to two skilled aviators who fought valiantly against an impossible situation until their very last breath. Their story is one of mechanical failure, human error, and incredible bravery in the face of certain doom. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories from aviation history.